Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it is time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We don't talk about Star Wars nearly as much as we used to because there's not a whole lot of good news or bad news.
There's just not a lot to talk about in general.
There's not a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about the parting gift that Anthony Daniels and Mark Hamill got for their decades of service. Their decades of service to the Star Wars franchise. They both got a cookie.
From Kathleen Kennedy.
From Kathleen Kennedy.
At least according to Anthony Daniels. We're going to talk about it.
They didn't get a watch. They didn't get a car. They didn't get no, they got a freaking cookie. So we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So did Peter Mayhew get a cookie? If he give a Wookiee a cookie?
I don't know. I mean, Anthony Daniels only mentions him and Mark Hamill. I don't know if they were only two that were left at the time on set or whatever. I know, Harrison Ford was done after Force Awakens and stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently those two saw each other in the hall, and Mark Hamill wasn't happy about a cookie, and then Anthony Daniels got one too. So what's going on is there's a new auction coming to the prop store, and Anthony Daniels is going to auction off his worn C-3PO headlights up that he used, I think, in Return of the Jedi, and some other stuff. And one of the things he brought up, it was an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, was that they're auctioning off a gingerbread cookie. All right?
Yeah. Let's look at this cookie. It's not
even a very good cookie.
It's not even a very good cookie. I have seen 7th grade fans to make better cookies of anime characters than this. Like, what?
It seems that after they wrapped up filming or whatever, he passed Mark Hamill in the hall. I passed Mark Hamill on his last day, and he said, "I've been in all these movies, and what am I getting as a leaving present? A cookie." And I kind of laughed, and then the same thing happened to me. I got a cookie. And they said, "How did you feel?" He goes, "How do you think I felt?" They asked him why he kept it instead of eating it. He said, "Well, it's my leaving present. Would you eat your leaving present?" So he kept his cookie, and now he's auctioning it off.
Oh my God. I'm sure it tastes really good after all these years. Well, people have bought bags of the Pepperidge Farm Star Wars cookies, which are actually pretty good. I remember them being pretty good, but they've actually bought old bags of them, and people have actually eaten them on YouTube. Or C-3PO cereal. I used to eat C-3POs.
I remember the C-3POs.
Yeah, they were great. But
do you remember that? But yes, apparently after years and years of service, what do you get? You get a cookie from Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh my God. I mean, that's a kick in the nuts, isn't it?
Well, they asked, "How did you feel? How do you think I felt?"
How do you think I felt? Like, this is what you get. Like, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, we're going to go buy you like a sports car, and we're going to make it look like a land speeder. Or we're going to give you a brand new car that it's got custom
really
plate."
Hung up on cars.
I am, because I would like a car. If I were leaving, I'd be like, okay, you go buy me like a Ferrari, and you have it painted C-3PO gold, because I made you a lot of money, and that's the least you can do. But maybe this is all they can afford now because Star Wars is in the gutter. Like, I
don't know, but that's what he said. So he's doing an auction.
Looks like he took a shit in his
I
costume.
know. So it's probably like a different kind of cookie cutter for something else, and they just made it into C-3PO.
Oh, probably.
So yeah, he's got a bunch of there's an entertainment memorabilia auction going from the 12th to the 14th, and on the 13th they're auctioning off. Go down one there. They're auctioning off his stuff. There, you can go scroll down. How much they estimate the cookies to go for? I didn't even look.
Probably not.
There's
much.
different things that they have up for auction. There's some parts in the Falcon that he found because I guess they were burning the Falcon. No, it's not even on the list.
Did he take the cookie up? Maybe they're like, we can't auction off foodstuffs, especially very, 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 very expired.
I don't know, but apparently there was a cookie at some point. Go to page 2 and see. Yeah, maybe it's on page 2 because there's a cookie.
Can I just search
for
cookie?
There's a roll of tape.
Wow, there's a lot of cool stuff on here, though. I would love some of this stuff.
It's on here, some of those different things. There's little handwritten scribble notes.
Cookie. We'll search for cookie.
I don't know if it's going to work. You have to hit the search button.
I am hitting the search button. There it is. Estimate $50 to $100.
Starting at $25, you could have the parting gift from Kathleen. It says from Kathleen Kennedy.
I want this cookie.
Well, you can bid on the cookie.
I'd pay $100.
Everybody's going to bid against you now because we just mentioned it.
I want this cookie. I want Kathleen Kennedy's cookie. I want to know what Oh, I don't want.
You're not going to eat this.
No, I would. I don't know what I would do with it. It's like 4 or 5 years old. What would you do with like a 4 or 5 year old cookie from Kathleen Kennedy?
His parting gift's only valued at $50 to $100 is the estimate for this thing.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. A C-3PO cookie gift from Kathleen Kennedy, producer of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The cookie lies within the Biscuiteers Jolly Ginger manufacturer's box packaging with a handwritten label attached that reads Anthony. The cookie is shaped like C-3PO with an icing finish. It's only 5 inches tall, too. This comes from the personal collection of actor Anthony Daniels. So this is how much it means to him that he's just...
Go down, there's more pictures.
Is that her writing? Is that actually her writing?
I don't know.
This is like what you... Okay. So you know the Jelly of the Month Club?
Yes.
And
they still have
National
those.
Lampoons?
Yes.
Where he thought he was going to get a pool and he got jelly. That's what this is. I thought I was going to get something really, really cool since this is the last time I'm ever going to play this iconic character, and you gave me a fucking cookie, Kathy.
It looks like it was like a gingerbread man basic shape. There's a little, looks like he's got like a little, it could have been a penis there. And they turned around and just flipped it upside down and turned it into a C-3PO.
God, so this tells me everything we need to know about what Anthony Daniels, that's all the bigger it is. It's not even a big, like if this thing were the size of a child, I'd be like, okay, that's kind of, it's not even 6 inches high. It's not even as big as an action figure.
Thank you for your years of dedication.
For your years of dedication to this franchise. And for all the millions and millions of dollars we probably made on C-3PO merchandise over the years. Here, Anthony, have a fucking cookie. Get the fuck out of here. It's all about Rey now.
They gave one to Luke Skywalker too. So
to Mark Hamill.
But he might have eaten his. Who knows?
He probably, I could picture, did he chase it down with some green milk? Like, is he sitting in the corner eating this cookie angrily and it's getting his beard and...
Well, I get the vibe. He doesn't say much, but I get the vibe he's just not very happy with the way things went down. I mean, especially after The Force Awakens when he had no lines. He was like really pissed about that.
Yeah, because he thought, you know, and I would think this, like, we're bringing Star Wars back.
And Luke Skywalker is like the main character.
And the reason we didn't have Luke say anything in that first movie is because he's going to be awesome in the next 2 movies. Well, no, he's not. That's...
Oh, he has a moment of supposed awesomeness where he projects himself instead of actually going there and fighting himself.
He phones it in. Luke Skywalker couldn't be bothered. Obviously, the X-Wing could have been lifted out of the water. He could have flown. Yeah, he couldn't be bothered to go save his sister and his friends in person. Nah, he just phoned it in.
But he got a cookie.
He sent Leia a cookie. He sent Leia a cookie. Like, I've heard you're having trouble with the new Empire. Have a cookie. I'm thinking about you, Luke.
If you give a droid a cookie, he auctions it off because it's a piece of shit.
If you give a droid a cookie, he auctions it off, but it's only going to get $100.
I know.
Damn it! I want this cookie.
You know what? It's going to go way higher than that now because we made it. We put it on here. People are talking about the cookie now. Well, actually, it was in passing. I saw this. So we're talking about the cookie now. So now because we brought up the cookie, people are going to go bid on it, and you're not going to be able to get the cookie.
God, I'm gonna have to fight some other YouTuber for it or something.
For the cookie. We're not buying a cookie. I'm sorry.
Does this go to
more than $100. I don't know. I know he's just doing an auction of getting rid of stuff. He said he had a bunch of stuff. He even has parts, like I said, parts of the Falcon because back then they didn't keep set pieces. So he said one day he was walking behind the studio and they're burning the Falcon. And he's like, oh my God, they're burning the Falcon. So he, I guess, saved a couple pieces of the Falcon.
Hey, this Avenue Q stage show puppet didn't sell. What they
No, it didn't.
Oh, well, they want like 3,000 pounds for it. That's why it didn't sell.
Well, there you go. Apparently not. But these are all old past stuff. But the current auction is a bunch of different things. They have stuff from Indiana Jones. They have stuff from like Aliens, a bunch of different movies and TV shows. But Anthony Daniels his stuff's gonna be up on the 13th.
Anthony Daniels gold C-3PO costume repair tape. So a roll of tape is going for $200 to $400, but his parting gift from Kathleen Kennedy is only gonna get $50 to $100.
It hasn't had a bid on it. Well, because it's probably going to, why would you pay money for something that's eventually just going to be like, if it can, one, ship it to you without breaking it, and two, it's going to eventually just like get gross and fall apart.
That's the way the cookie crumbles,
Much like
I
the
guess.
puppets did originally. For
Like here's Jabba's eyes, you know. God, that's sad. That's just sad though. Like they don't give a shit. They really don't care. So let's just to pour some salt in the wound here. Like the actor that played Admiral Akbar, when his death, which was off camera, but they made a joke. They had him say it's a wrap with the clapboard, and he was pissed about it. He's like, wait, so not only do you kill me off camera, but you make a joke out of it.
Yep.
And, you know, they don't care. Like, the people in charge of Lucasfilm do not care.
Speaking of which, Kathleen Kennedy is getting awards. She's going to get an award now, guys. She's going to get the Polly Platt Award for, you know, all
fucking up a
stuff
franchise beyond recognition.
All the stuff she's done, you know, in films. And now, to be fair, she was involved in a lot of films, the capacity of which we aren't sure of, but she was involved in a lot of films that were big deals. She found a way to somehow manage to ruin Star Wars, Willow, and Indiana Jones.
Is that what the awards?
So she's out 3 for 3 there.
So did Polly Platt fuck up a lot of IP too?
No.
Is that what she's known for?
But it's it's going to be she's going to speak about her career too. Are they going to have to protect the stuff on YouTube again, like they did last time when everybody kept downvoting it? That's one of the reasons they did it for Disney, because everybody was downvoting her getting an award, and that's why all of a sudden the downvote button got hidden. If you go up, it tells you what it is. It is it's an award given annually to producers with a keen sense of story who have a history of fostering new talent. By new talent, you mean women.
Yeah.
So
it's like, look, and I don't know if she's going to get gone or not. People have been predicting her getting gone for like, you know,
she's still there
10 years now. But with the proxy war coming up at Disney, and if you look at that 130-page white paper that Nelson Peltz put out, he does say that if they get their people on the board, they're going to look at all the people in charge of all the studios and all the movies that are in development, and they're going to make decisions accordingly. And they're going to expect everyone at these studios to be accountable for the stuff that they're greenlighting.
Except for Kathleen Kennedy for some reason.
Yeah, why is she immune to this? Like, she's failed harder than anybody else, and she still gets to keep her job.
She's got to have one hell of a blackmail file. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know. It blows my mind. It's like she should have been out the door years ago. But I mean, it's so bad. You know, they're announcing the Rey movie, but they're talking that they're going to do the Mandalorian before Rey, because again, they're looking at the bottom line and they're like, well, what sells? Well, people like Baby Yoda, I guess, you know, Grogu. So we'll do a Mando movie first, and Pedro Pascal's kind of popular right now, and we'll do that first. And the Rey movie is like on the back burner. Now, they did say yesterday, Bob Iger said they're quietly canceling movies.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible?
But Star Wars has a tendency of announcing things that get canceled.
Yeah, I think
Kathleen
they've actually
does it all the time.
I think she does it to piss on it, to be like, well, it'd look really stupid of you, wouldn't it, Bob, if you canceled that now? Because I made a big deal about it. And they're pushing the Acolyte through. A lot of people thought that was going to get canceled. But there's so many things that they announced that got canceled. I mean, half of the Star Wars projects they announced got canceled.
More than half. It's been a staggering amount. So, or they repurpose it into shows or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, speaking of the Mandalorian and such. So I told you in a couple different videos that the things that we were getting at Disney, in Disney World, and to be Disneyland as well, that are new are just like reskins of stuff. And one of the things they were mentioning was Star Tours is going to get new endings, new footage. Yeah, they're going to put them for the Mandalorian, Andor, and Ahsoka because they want to synergize it with their Disney Plus shows. So that's the new footage we're getting, is Mandalorian and Andor and Ahsoka plots.
Yeah.
And they're gonna kick it off on April 5th at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Because Disneyland still gets like that whole Star Wars, the whole Star Wars thing that they do, like they kind of like they used to do at Disney World.
Oh, Star Wars Days.
Kind of like that, but I forget what they call it. But it's, yeah, April 5th. They're gonna do this. Disneyland does a Seasons of the Force thing.
Yeah.
So that's when they put the overlays on, like, you know, Space Mountain.
Space Mountain, they do
like
Hyperspace Mountain, which is actually pretty cool. But, like,
we don't get that at Disney World, but, you know.
No. I mean, look, on one hand, I'm glad that Star Tours is still there because it's still my favorite Star Wars ride. But I'm like, And I'm sure what they probably did is when they were working on these shows, they probably had, Industrial Light and Magic do, footage for the ride. And that's kind of what they did with, the prequels too, the last, because they switched everything out with the prequels. And that being said, I don't think anybody is dying for, ride through of Ahsoka or Andor or anything. But yeah, it's good to see some new movies, I guess.
Well, I think what's one thing about Star Tours is it's been around how long? And it's still really popular. I mean, the fact that they do put new stuff into it. Like, meanwhile, we have, the Millennium Falcon, the Smuggler's Run attraction. It's the same dang film, unless you get the alternate ending because I forget what it was, but you can get Chewbacca yelling at you, apparently. But it's the same film. They won't change it out. But Star Tours they keep updating it to stay relevant. Yeah,
I would have preferred that the Falcon ride not had the game elements and actually just had, here's the Falcon going through the asteroid belt. Here's the Falcon going to the Death Star. Here's the Falcon. You know what I'm saying? And
you can even hear like Luke, Han, and Leia talking. Yeah. They wouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. It would have been Rey.
Right.
Palpatine.
Rey Palpatine. Yeah. So, I mean, they honestly, look, if Disney were smart, and they're not smart, maybe if they finally get rid of Kathleen Kennedy whenever she decides to leave or melt, somebody throws a bucket of water on her, whenever she gets out of there, they might be able to take Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and turn it into the original trilogy, because that is what everybody wanted. That's what was planned to be. You can see it. You can see it was clearly designed to be original trilogy. I mean, they've got original trilogy walkers in the Rise of the Resistance, because that was probably supposed to be an Imperial Star Destroyer, and that was supposed to be Endor. And that base was supposed to probably be a base on Endor or Yavin or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And also,
the walkers make no sense.
No, because they had the guerrilla walkers, and
right.
So, and then Batu obviously was supposed to be Tatooine. It was supposed to be Docking Bay 94, and they changed it at the last minute. You can tell where they kind of made these tweaks to it. I'm like, you could turn Galaxy's Edge into the original trilogy very, very easily, and Nelson Peltz be very happy, because if it was based on the original trilogy, and you just ignored the sequels and you ignored the Disney Plus shows and went back to basics, it would actually probably could compete with the Wizarding World. Throw another attraction or two. They were supposed to have like a Bantha walking attraction or something. Build that, and you'd be fine. Because that's what people want. They want the original trilogy. But, whatever. Doesn't matter. We see how important the original trilogy actors are to current year Lucasfilm, because all you get is a fucking cookie.
A cookie.
Fucking cookie.
With a comma there. Don't fuck the cookie.
Somebody who ever buys it might, I don't know, guys.
We need a shirt that says something I put with a comma and circle with a comma. Because I always say that, and I'm like, with a comma.
Punctuation matters.
Yeah, so there you go. You can buy a Anthony Daniels, or his parting gift, parting gift from Star Wars, a cookie that apparently has hemorrhoids.
It does. It looks like he's got hemorrhoids or a testicle or something. Maybe that was an in joke. Well, I think they took the icing to stick it to the box. But maybe that's a joke. Maybe he's like, yeah, this thing's really tight, and my testicles are hanging out of my suit or something.
Well, I know Carrie Fisher used to joke that when she had the metal bikini, that they'd have to cut, because when she shipped, the bikini wouldn't, and her boobs would fall out, and they'd be like, cut, Carrie's tits are falling out again, or something like that.
Or maybe she gave him a cookie because it's an in joke, like, hey, you had to, keep your waistline trim all these years.
Well, no, but they gave Mark Hamill one too. And Mark Hamill's mad. He's just like,
That's all he gets, a fucking cookie.
He goes, I've been in all these movies, and what am I getting as a leaving present? A cookie.
I can just see it like him just angrily biting the head off Luke Skywalker, sitting in the corner with his green milk, and be like, what the fuck? This is what I did with my life. What the fuck? This is all I got.
Anyway, there you
up.
have it.
There you go, guys.
After you've done years and years of service for Star Wars, you get a cookie.
That's how the cookie crumbles. We're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.